Back on the Zenith 707 cabinet, you can see this beautiful bookend design. For those that watched the previous video, I'm just missing the molding on the lower side there on the opposite side of the cabinet. So I need to recreate those pieces, and I think the construction is going to be simple. I think 3 individual sections of wood glued together, and I can use some wood filler to create some of the contours, and then some filing where it butts up against the cabinet to get this thing back together. Some of the photos I wanted to share, you can see that contour here at the bottom that I think I can just use some wood filler to recreate that, the overlapping sections, and some filing there where the pieces butt up against the cabinet itself. And then taking some measurements to be precise, and I've got some scrap wood here I've already measured that should work perfect by gluing these pieces together. So let me go make some cuts and get this glued in place. You can see I have the dimensions transferred over to the birch plywood and the press wood, and have the blade runner set up to do the cuts. And here's my finished pieces, less any sanding, and gluing those first 2 sections together to create that 8mm middle piece and a dry fit for the first time. Looks better than I expected. I'll go back with some Timbermate water-based wood filler and kind of create the contours that I was talking about and fill in the gaps, and then I'll come back with a straight edge with some sandpaper and clean everything up. Gluing this first piece, I've flipped the cabinet over. I'm actually going to do it from the bottom side. I think that's going to help. And we'll start that first piece off. Flipping the cabinet over, you can see that first piece I've glued in. Looks really good. And just kind of burning some time while that sets up. Found another little small patch there I needed to do on the grill. I've got that taken care of, and here I'm doing a dry fit on that middle section and doing some sanding there where it butts up against the cabinet. Of course, the same process here for the second layer and that third final layer. That's the bottom layer or top is in the video or photo, and getting everything clamped in place. We'll let that set up for a bit. And while waiting for that glue to dry, I found another piece of loose veneer on the side, and also went back and did some sanding there on that grill piece that I repaired. And now a look at the new molding there on the bookend. I'll sharpen up these edges after the wood filler, of course, dries for a few hours. And I think this is going to look really good. After I complete the sanding, when that wood filler dries, I'm going to go back over the cabinet with some wool lube and steel wool, and just see if I can cut more of the grime off the cabinet, and that'll give me a better indicator if a touch-up is even possible, or do I need to take that next step and do a refinish. Appreciate you guys watching the molding recreation there for the bookend piece. Up next, again, we'll get into more of the finish work and decide what path we need to take. Thanks again for viewing.